Hey, the gaming backlog. The list of games that you really want to play but you never seem to get around to. Something that fills gamers with a mix of guilt and sadness and anxiety, because there's all these games that people say are really good that they've managed to play, but somehow you just can't get around to them. And the list just seems to keep growing, and you start to think to yourself, how am I ever going to play all these games? I'm going to miss out. How am I going to get through them all? Well, I recently watched a pair of videos actually, by Daryl Talks Games, where he made one video a year ago where he sort of outlined how and why he was going to tackle his gaming backlog, and then made another video a few weeks ago detailing how the whole process went over this year, where it failed, where it worked. They're both really good videos. I do recommend that you watch them. But basically he made a spreadsheet, so I'm sold already, where he made a list of games, how long they took to beat, whether he'd purchased them already or not, and then another sheet in the same file with a list of the games that he did beat, along with a couple of sentences on like how he felt about the game, why he beat it, why he spent so long on it, and stuff like that. He found that the first spreadsheet was a pretty efficient way of sort of finding a game to play and organising his thoughts a little bit with what games go where, and then that the other spreadsheet really helped him with remembering the game a little bit. He found that writing a little bit about each game really helped him to sort of remember the game more so than he ever had with other games before. He'd found that he'd played some games and he just kind of forgot that he'd played them. But he found that the time limit he put himself of the year, along with the pressure to finish a certain amount of games at a certain time, actually filled him with more anxiety than just having the backlog in the first place. But nevertheless, I watched these videos and I felt slightly inspired to finally get through my gaming backlog, but I'm going to do it in a slightly different way. I'm still going to have a spreadsheet, don't worry, you can find a link to that in the description. It just helps me. I like having lists, I like spreadsheets, anybody that knows me knows that. Like I said, you can find a link to that spreadsheet in the description. There's a mix of old games, new games, emulated games, games from genres that I've never even played before, classics that are egregiously missing from my played list, along with modern games that are, award winners that I just haven't found the time to get around to. And the key to this whole process that really made me think about it a little bit differently, that's I think going to make this a little bit of a different and interesting experiment, is this, the Valve Steam Deck OLED. My wife bought me this for Christmas and I've been loving it already so far. Everyone says that the Steam Deck helps them to play and finish more games than they ever have before, and with me slowly and begrudgingly becoming an adult, I'm finding myself not really having the time to play as many games as I'd like to play. And so I'm going to find out if having a Steam Deck and playing games on this helped me to play more games than I ever have before. I think the answer is going to be an unequivocal yes, but I think how many more games and how I feel about playing them on a handheld rather than at my desk or sat on the sofa is going to be a pretty interesting thing to find out. As a small review of this device, I've been loving it so far already. It's the 28th as of me recording this video, and so it's only been a couple of days that I've been gaming on it, and I've been busy with seeing family and stuff, and I've already gamed a ton on it, so I can't really say many bad things about it, to be honest. I never had the original Steam Deck, so I don't really have that to compare it to, but just some thoughts on it. First of all, the screen is incredible on the OLED. Our OLED screens I already knew were incredible, but I mean, this is just something else. It's amazing to have that kind of caliber of screen right there in your hand all the time. It's amazing. The speakers are also surprisingly good. That's sort of maybe the case on the original Steam Deck as well, but just as a thought, I was really surprised by how good they sounded considering how small the speaker grills are on the front. So that's cool. It's also surprisingly comfortable as well. It's obviously quite a big device, and I have quite long and lanky fingers, and so I was quite worried at first before I sort of held it and actually played games for hours on it that I was going to find it a bit uncomfortable, but surprisingly not. It's much more light than I thought it was going to be, and the shape of it really just helps my hands sort of get a grips on the bad boy. I've also currently got it set up so that I can plug my Steam Deck into a dock that's in my TV, so that I can kind of just, like, if I want to play some of the games sat on my sofa instead of having it in my hand. So that's always a nice to have, and it's just another gateway to me being able to play more games. According to my Steam year in review, I only played 11 games last year, and only 5 of those were new games. Now, I don't feel too bad about that. One of the games I played was one that you've seen a lot of on this channel, which is Baldur's Gate 3. I have like 150 hours in that game, and I really don't feel too bad about that. That is definitely in my top 5, maybe top 3 games of all time, so that was definitely not time wasted. It's going to be exciting to see if I can find another game that can take hold of me as much as Baldur's Gate 3 did, and still does. What I'll be doing is making a video each month, basically talking about the games I played that month, sort of semi-little reviews of them, and kind of reviewing the process so far, what I think about them, how well they play on the Steam Deck, and yeah, my general thoughts. I'll then also be making a big video at the end of the year, sort of a review of the whole process, maybe highlighting some of the best games I played that year, a sort of a year in review sort of thing. And then I'll be deciding once and for all whether the Steam Deck does indeed let me play more games, which, like I said earlier, is almost certainly going to be a yes, but you know, it's going to be fun anyway. I've actually already started playing some games on it, which you'll probably hear about in a month when I make the video about it, so get subscribed to the channel if you want to see that. There are some games on the list that I won't want to play on the Steam Deck, or can't play on the Steam Deck because of performance limitations, so some of them I'll still be playing at my desk or in front of the sofa on a console or something, but the ones I play on my desk, you may find me streaming here on YouTube as well, playing with some of those games, so if you want to see those, hit the notification bell as well as subscribing so that you don't miss the notifications of me going live. Also, if you check the spreadsheet down below and have a look at the list of games, if there is any that aren't already on there that you think I should play, leave a comment down below. There's so many in the list already, there's like 216 or something like that if I remember correctly, so there's absolutely no way I'm playing all of them. But if there's anything I should play, leave a comment down below. Perhaps, you know, if enough people suggest it, then I'll just have to put it at the top of the list, I suppose. There's also a few things in there that are sort of maybe egregiously missing according to some people. There's actually a few game series that I haven't touched at all, so I'm thinking about maybe making like a full series, like full game series review series or something like that. Things like Final Fantasy, Metal Gear Solid, Castlevania, Kingdom Hearts. They're series that I just never played a single game from any of those game series, which is sacrilege, I'm sure, to a lot of people watching, but I will get around to those. They are on the list, just not on the list that you can see in the description. But if there are any that you want me to play, let me know in the comments. And that's kind of it for now. I'm excited to get gaming on this thing. I kind of am already, but I'm excited to get finishing some games and get that sense of achievement. I have a few games that I'm really excited to get to as well, so yeah, it's just going to be a really fun time. It's going to be a fun time for me, and hopefully it's going to be a fun little interesting process for you guys as well to watch. So yeah, time to get gaming, I guess.